All right, friends, it's Bradley J. Travel, and let's talk about food in Rome. First, Suple and Suple Roma. If you walk from the Trastevere train station, you take the airport train to the Trastevere station and walk, you'll come to Suple Roma. And when you get there, have an arancini. And an arancini is risotto and tomato sauce and mozzarella cheese. And if you get one warm, the cheese is still gooey. And that place that I mentioned, Suple Roma, is the best. This is a shop with fancy gourmet prepared foods. And this is through a window, just walking by. And a lot of the things have pie crust around them so you can take them home and bake them. This stuff's pretty expensive. Look at the prices on there. Okay, here's Armando al Pantheon. I saw this on the Stanley Tucci show and tried to get in, and it's very difficult to get in. You'd think since it's right beside the Pantheon that it would be kind of a tourist trap, but no. It is exquisite. It is spectacular. And look how close it is to the Pantheon there. I had the rigatoni Amatriciana, and we had the Carbonara. Now, day 2. This isn't actually Rome. This is 2 hours out of Rome. A little town called Viterbo. Unbelievably charming, painfully charming, and it's only 2 hours by train and completely worth it. There are a lot of little towns like this. This is not the only one, but this was mine. What a Christmassy vibe. And look at the polar bear there. And on the street, you can get mulled wine and this street food. I did not get any of these burgery things. I just got the mulled wine. And Shannon and I, we strolled the streets, and it wasn't crowded, and it was convivial. And we were trying to find a restaurant. It was Sunday night, and so the pickings were slim. But finally happened upon this real friendly place. Nice and warm inside, and the people were just so friendly. And all I got was a crostini with anchovy on it. But they did have Kozel beer, my number one beer in the world. It's hard to find. There's the crostini. It was inexpensive. It was fun. This is just a wine shop with a few tables. Nothing better. This is in the Trastevere neighborhood. And look at the old gentleman there, cool guy, just a few tables. There were some regulars that came in there. It didn't look very touristy to me, but of course this was December. That's me, very satisfied. That's Shannon. And it's just rows of wine. They have a pretty extensive menu and only like 4 tables. Funny, they had a really good sound system in there. They had a really good radio and an interesting channel with kind of hard rock. Who knew? But that was our table. We went there again and again. A tremendous memory. There's the dude. All right, here's the Donna Camilla Hotel. And usually we like to get a bigger room, but this time we went with the fancier hotel and the smaller room. But boy, did they have a breakfast. This is extravagant, and I spent a lot of time on it just because it is so over the top. Sure, they have the various iterations of fruit, but they have like some sort of salad there. And is that like squash or something? And chickpeas with tomato? They have a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think of as breakfast food. Of course, the croissant. These things are big here. I don't know what you call them. A pain chocolat. And don't know what that is, but didn't even try one. Couldn't try everything. Look at that for breakfast. No, those are that's like charcuterie on a croissant. Salad stuff, the obligatory meats and mortadella, juices, and of course eggs, pancakes, and I mean, look at the place. And that was included. Okay, here's a restaurant called Bar Callisto. I mean, it's not a restaurant. Why did I call it a restaurant? It's a bar. But it has to be included because, I mean, you do ingest drinks, correct? Everyone here looks like a movie star, right? It's kind of crazy. Look at him. And this dude is, I don't know quite how to categorize him. These were my favorite 2 guys right there. And on the way back from Bar Callisto, we stopped at what seemed to be kind of like a touristy restaurant, but it was not expensive and it was exquisite. There's a fettuccine with mushrooms, and this is a nondescript restaurant, and there's your Cacio Pepe with a thick pasta, and I need to find out what that is. And that was probably the best thing we had, and it was only €12, maybe even 10. The caprese salad. One time I said, all right, I'm getting pizza and stuff. I'm getting street food. That was the day I spent a little too much time in that wine bar. I thought I was going overboard, but the stuff was so good, and I just ordered to my heart's content, and it was only €16. This is a Salumeria, a meat place. I get meat and cheese, and it's so legit, even though it's in a really touristy area. Again, I can let the video do the talking. It smells so wonderful in there. And again, I'm trying to stay away from meat, but when in Rome. And I also want one of everything in those little jars. The folks were super friendly. There's a back room. This is taken from the back room, and this is the back room. Charcuterie room. You couldn't go there unless you were going to have a plate of charcuterie. So we told the dude, charcuterie for 2, please. He gave us a massive amount. And it was not, I thought it was going to be $60, $80. It was $40, or I should say euro. And it was a pile of fine meats and cheeses, including some rare truffle cheese, which you'll see in a minute. This guy was so cool. People would come in that he knew, and the family would come in that he knew, and they sit down, look at this thing. It's a pile. And there's that truffle cheese I mentioned. I thought it was a fair price. We couldn't finish it. And we couldn't take it back to the States either. If you dug the video, subscribe and follow. Click the bell to get notified of new posts. Please rate it and share it. You know what to do. Thanks, and bye-bye.